Hello, welcome to Basics of Immigration, Fiancé visas. I'm making this in its own segment because it's a popular area that people are fascinated about and want to understand a little more what it really means, what really happens legally. With some of the other things that we've talked about, I'll explain fiancé visas. If you haven't watched them already, I highly recommend that you watch Immigration 101, Non-immigrant visas, and immigrant visas. If you've watched those, it will be much easier to understand what I'm about to explain right now. All right, let's say that I fall in love with someone who's a citizen of another country, country X, and he lives in country X. I want him to come to the United States and marry me so that we can have a life together. How is he going to get a visa? If you remember from immigrant visas, family members can get visas, spouses, children, parents, brothers and sisters. He's not any of these things. He's not my spouse yet. We're not married. So sure, I could fly to his country. I could marry him there. And then I could file a petition to bring my husband to the United States. That's one option. But let's say that I don't want to go to his country to marry him. I really want to get married in my country. For whatever reason, that's important to me to get married here. So he can't come as my spouse, and it turns out he can't come on a family visa at all, at least not through me. He's not my family member yet. So he can't come as a family member. Let's say he's not eligible for any other immigrant visas. Then we could look at non-immigrant visas. Could he come on a non-immigrant visa? Well, he's not coming to do any of the things that we talked about with non-immigrant visas. He's not coming to study. He's not coming to work. He's not transiting through. He's not coming temporarily. He's not coming as a tourist. To get a tourist visa, you actually have to prove that you don't intend to migrate to the United States. He does intend to migrate to the United States. He's coming to live with me forever. So a tourist visa doesn't work. None of these things work. How is he going to come? This seems impossible. So this is where Congress came up with fiancé visas. I'm going to make them pink for love and hearts and all those things. I don't know where the accent goes. Probably wrote that wrong. Not sure. Anyway, fiancé visa. If I intend to marry someone from outside the United States, I can petition, the US citizen can petition the government and say, I'm in love with this person. Well, you don't have to be in love. I'm sorry. Scratch that part. I intend to marry this person. I've met this person. We've spent time together. There's a whole series of things you have to prove. You can read all of that online. The important thing is I file a petition and say, we're going to get married. Please let him come to the United States for the purpose of marrying me. If that petition gets approved, fiancé goes to the consulate and says, there's an approved petition. I really am this person. Please give me a fiancé non-immigrant visa. If the consulate says that he checks out, they give him a non-immigrant visa with the category of fiancé. He then comes to the United States. He has 90 days to marry me. We get married within those 90 days. He then applies to adjust his status from a non-immigrant to an immigrant, the spouse of a US citizen. That's it, the end. And then he becomes an OPR as the spouse of a US citizen. There are a couple of things, though, that I'll point out there. He does have 90 days. So we need to get married during that time. He shouldn't come until the plans are ready and we're ready to get married. That's a civil marriage. So some people may get married civilly within those 90 days and then have a big wedding later. But that they do have the time period. The other thing that's important to note there is he has permission to come to marry me. So let's say he comes to the United States. He meets my sister. She's way cooler than I am. And he's like, actually, I want to marry her. He's going to need to start the process over. He won't be able to just adjust his status. So he does actually need to marry the person who petitioned for him as a fiancé. That's a fiancé visa. I think that covers the basics of it. Again, there's tons of stuff online if you want to know more about it. But that's the general idea of a fiancé visa. They're actually coming in as a non-immigrant and then changing their status to be an immigrant because of all the things that now you understand from watching the immigrant and non-immigrant visa segments. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. That's it for Basics of Immigration today.